Well, folks, welcome back to the Logic Speak podcast. I'm your host, Adam Bieber, joined by our founder and president, Jason Etheridge. Jason, thanks again for spending some time with me here in our studio.
Thanks for having me again.
Well, you're having me.
Well, we're having each other.
Okay. So
Love fest.
I was about to say, for the first time, I might actually say we'll edit that out, even though I know we won't.
We won't.
I don't even know if this is relevant to say, but we really do these in one take, and you get exactly as the conversation happens. So kind of the heart behind that was
We're nothing if not organic.
yes. And man, there's so many times that we have conversations and we're like, man, that would have been a great one to record. And so now I just bring topics that I want to talk to you about here and turn all these things on and we record it.
I love it.
So others can pull up a chair and listen with us. So today, man, I'm excited about this topic. This has been maybe one of the things I'm most proud of for the year in terms of how we have intentionally invested in this area. And so today's podcast topic is called For Engineers. And as a company, we made a big statement this year to tell the community that we are for engineers. We are for the people that work at engineering firms, and there really is a story behind that. There's a long story arc behind that, and so I want to talk about that story arc, and then we'll kind of get to some of the fun things we got to do this year,
Cool.
and celebrate a little bit. But why don't you start us with kind of explaining the
Sure.
origins of why LogicSpeak is a managed service provider that supports a lot of engineering firms?
Yeah. It goes all the way back to college. So many people probably know already. I went to Georgia Tech, and I started out, my first major was affectionately called Undecided Engineering.
I was going to say, I like how you said first major.
Yeah. The Undecided Engineering College.
Okay.
So for a skosh, I was on my way to becoming an engineer and then decided that computers were where I wanted to go. So I was a computer engineer and then decided I hated electrical engineering. And so then I became a computer scientist instead. But along the way, obviously, a lot of my friends were engineers. One of my best friends owns an engineering company out in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Yeah.
Shout out to William J. Peltier and Associates. And I happened to have married an engineer
Yes.
who is a civil engineer. And so I'm very directly tied to the engineering industry.
Yeah, I have actually told people like, well, we're pretty married to the industry. And then as I get into it, I'm like, no, literally
No.
married to the industry.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, but what that did is it partnered us as a professional services company to align with another very, very important professional services company. And one of the things that was not a surprise, but that we had to adjust to was, what does it look like to support an engineering firm? So let's kind of talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think one of the interesting things about the engineering space is that engineering, for hundreds of years, right? We're still building buildings. We're still, paving roads. We're still, directing water where we want it to go. So the industry hasn't changed, but the technology and the tools that engineers use has exploded. From the various versions of AutoCAD to, MicroStation, depending on your engineering, your particular space, to how you share files, how you collaborate, how you work together. Even now the introduction of 3D engineering with Revit, for structural engineers. So I think probably more so than any other industry that we serve, they use an incredible amount of technology to do their jobs and to do it well and quickly and efficiently and safely and all the things. So their needs for an IT, for their technology to be reliable and consistent and efficient and productive, probably is on par with any other industry that we serve in terms of needing it to be there and to work.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think one of the things I've learned just more recently is, the nice part about increased efficiency with digital tools is you can start a project in the office, you can keep working on the project at home. That adds a massive layer of complexity because of the size of the files that engineers are working with, the applications that they're running. Sometimes they'll start a project in one version of an application and they have to keep that version installed even though the next version has come out and they're starting new projects on the other version. So there's a lot of this like just awareness of what engineers need in today's technological landscape to support them well.
And that's actually changed thanks not just to COVID, but with the speed that remote work kind
Yeah.
of came on the scene.
True.
You know, engineering companies used to have a server in an office. They all came into the office. They had high-powered desktops, not laptops.
Yeah.
So when they were sharing engineering files, you know, Bobby was just across the way, and it all just worked because I was on a local network. And now one person can be remote, one person can be in the office, people can be traveling, you can be collaborating with 3 or 4 other partners
Yeah.
in the engineering space, sharing files with each other back and forth, making edits, doing, you know, 50% complete, 60% complete, and all those things. So it's, and to your point, the size of those files has just gone crazy. So there are some inherent challenges with how we work today and with the engineering space in particular.
I think it's probably also relevant to mention the rapid increase in cybercrime with COVID as well. So
Yep.
while there was this great opportunity for businesses to pivot and learn how to do remote work and how to accommodate business functions from a multiple places,
Yep.
there also was a massive increase in cybercrime and a need for cybersecurity tools that can help mitigate that.
Sure. And add to that the compliance necessary
Yeah.
because of the number of years that engineers are required to keep the final versions of plans, the things that they've architected or constructed, you know, those have to be available for a certain number of years. So it's a exponentially growing problem.
Sure. Yeah. And you know what's interesting? You and I met with an engineering firm just a couple of weeks ago, and I found it fascinating that how frequently they actually do go back and need to look at those plans.
All the time. All
You
the
know,
time.
there's a number of different reasons that would motivate that to happen, but it was interesting to hear him say, "No, probably a couple times a month.
Yep.
I'm searching for something." And I'm
Yep.
like, "Wow!" Like, so there needs to be organization. There needs to be, you know, user friendly, accessible ways to get a hold of that data. There also needs to be a cost effective way to store it and
Yep.
to preserve it.
And data security built in to make sure that it doesn't leak and get out in the wild.
Yeah, yeah. That's enough tech talk. Because really, if someone's listening to this and they're an engineering firm, we can really deep dive, do a bit of an IT analysis on their environment and kind of start having that conversation. What I wanted to do was just kind of set the stage because as we have begun to work with more engineering firms, and you already mentioned Jen's firm has been a client for a long time, but now we have a lot of engineering clients. You kind of got to start to be introduced to and you know, familiar with some of the firms in the area just as a result of being at different networking events and conferences and going along as a spouse and then getting to meet people and for our client base to grow, which has been awesome. And then at one point, you thought it was a great strategic idea to join an engineering association. So what was your mind going through back then when you decided to do that?
Well, back to your point, I mean, you know, we don't just choose one vertical to work with. There are companies like ours that choose one type of company, and you know, that's
Sure,
all.
Sure.
I think that's a little short-sighted in that different industries can inform other industries. So,
Yeah.
you know, we might have a financial planning firm that does something with technology that ends up being applicable to the engineering space, or the engineering space might be a front runner, and eventually the legal industry is going to catch up to that as well.
Yep.
So I think there's an increased maturity that comes with working with a select group of industries,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Working with 1,000 industries is not going to help, but a select group. And so what we wanted to do was instead of to go wide, we wanted to go deep.
Yeah.
And so, you know, because of our ties to the engineering space, and the ACEC Georgia organization is so well run, and doing
Shout
a
out
lot.
to Sully and the team.
That's right, doing a lot of incredible things for the engineering industry in Georgia. It was I don't want to say a no brainer, but it's certainly, you know, I had been to the conference a couple of times, and I just remarked at how well they ran those conferences, and so for us to walk alongside them and really come out in a big way at an ACEC summer conference, I think was perfect. And
Well, you're getting ahead of my notes here,
I'm so
Jason.
sorry, so sorry.
Well, no. So we joined the association as a company for a while, and we were just a member. And so
Yep.
they have happy hours and events and things to go to. And if you're not familiar, that's the American Council of Engineering Companies. and they have different chapters in different states that I believe are independently run and operated. They're a nonprofit organization. And so, it being in Georgia, you saw the value of joining an industry, us being an industry adjacent
Right.
service provider. We don't go to the conference as another engineering firm. We, join the association to be a partner to engineering firms.
Well, and I think that's part of partnering with an industry and partnering with our clients
Yeah.
is to show up where they are and to understand what's important to them.
Yeah, that's a
What
good point.
challenges do they have? What are the opportunities in the engineering space that are on the forefront here for the next few years? Honestly, even understanding how the state of Georgia is investing in transportation
Yes.
and how engineering is partnering
Yep.
in that
Yep.
helps us to know how to better support our clients and how technology can help them accomplish those goals. So it's really just trying to show up and be a good partner to an industry and to a space so that we can walk alongside them and really help them get further faster.
Yeah, get further faster, and it's great because it expands our perspectives. It helps us to align better to their priorities, where we're not just, someone can say, "Hey, we really have a focus on, trade and ports and things like that," and then when we realize that the Port of Savannah is one of the busiest ports in the country, and if something were to happen to that port, it would have a horrible domino effect across the country.
Yep.
Like it is just, I did not realize how pivotal of a location the Port of Savannah is, and it being in Georgia and having a lot of engineering firms in Georgia that rely on that port. But also, I mean, that's just on the transportation side, but
Right.
there's so many things that contribute to this incredible industry. And had I not, gone to a conference and learned and listened, and it has just helped to open up our perspectives,
Yep.
I think, as a company. And then what I'm building toward is just what I love that we chose to do this year. And that was early in the year, we sat down and said, hey, we want to invest more in how we show up for engineers, how we
Yep.
show up for engineering firms. And we probably need to give credit to Jeff Henderson and his book. But really this whole idea of being known by what we're for. And at Logic Speak, we are people serving people. We are for people. And in the engineering community, that means we're for engineers.
Yep.
And so, man, it was so cool to come up with that plan and kind of that brand that we wanted to share. And then we just went all in with the ACEC Georgia Summer
Yep.
Conference as the title sponsor this summer, being the top tier sponsor, being able to really show up, show our support, collaborate, network. And I think it was just a phenomenal experience. What was some of your takeaways from being
Oh,
able to
goodness.
jump in and do that?
I mean, to just start out, I don't think I've ever been more proud of anything that we've done out in the world, so to speak,
Yeah.
than that conference. From literally our logo that was everywhere.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about our logo, but ultimately how we were showing that we invest and how we care. I've been jokingly saying that the only thing our logo wasn't on was the toilet paper, which I don't know if that's too far off.
It's not that far off. It's not that far off.
But I did, being at the conference for a few days, getting to attend some of the conference presentations, learning more about some of the efforts that are underway around autonomous driving, and a lot of the engineering things that are kind of on the forefront. It was really, really fun to be at and a learning experience,
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah. I love how collaborative the industry is, that they lean on each other, because oftentimes when a project comes out, there's so many firms that are contributing in some way. And so even though there is competition, there's also this amazing loyalty and support of
Right.
one another, which
Right.
I just love. I think it's so unique about the engineering industry.
I wish our industry was a little bit more friendly, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a lot of MSP owners and
Sure,
we're
sure.
friendly.
Yep.
But in terms of partnering together,
Yeah.
that's not really a thing. But to your point, there'll be large enterprise level engineering firms that, because of the way that projects are structured, work with various size engineering companies, all the way to the uber small and the disadvantaged businesses and DBEs. And so it's really neat to see how they partner together and what a close knit industry they are.
Close knit, solid community, great people.
Yep.
And so, yeah, man, we just had a ton of fun getting to be at the beach, getting to show our support, getting to do some fun things and try some new things that we had never tried, just from a how we show up kind of marketing standpoint.
Yep.
I had a lot of fun getting to be out there, work the booth, and see and meet a ton of people. One of the things that I think what it did was it kind of set the bar for how we want to show up consistently in other places as well. We're going to talk a little bit about our backyard on another episode, but it really does kind of mirror some of the stuff that you and I have been talking about a lot lately, of just why this is important. And you'll see themes throughout these episodes of it all just comes back to showing up for our clients, just being, and you said it already, showing up where they are.
I thought I thought we showed up in an authentic way.
Yeah.
We didn't try to be somebody that we weren't. We just came to be a support and to let people know who we are and that we care about the community and the engineering community. And I think that showed through. And we got a lot of positive feedback. And even in the main session when we played the video that we played, which was just kind of a little 2.5 minute, 3 minute teaser.
Yeah,
we got claps. I mean, people were clapping for our video, which from a vendor video, like that, it was really special.
It really was
really special.
Yeah, it was neat, and it's exciting because to me it's also just the beginning. Like our partnership with ACEC Georgia, with engineering firms in the community, they're only going to get deeper because we really do care about showing up for this industry, and we really care about the companies that are clients that we're already working with also get to work with. As we look at the kind of the technological landscape of the future, things like AI in design and creating smarter cities and safer roadways and things like that, how do you see the technology support of LogicSpeak and the engineering community continuing to collaborate?
Well, I think what we are planning, and some of the things that you'll see coming out for the engineering space, will be deeper use of AI in design. It's not that far off, for an AI agent to be able to help with a roadway design. Yes, it will need to be reviewed by a human, but or stormwater, or some sort of erosion control, or to speak to my wife's industry, or designing a wall to make sure it doesn't fall over or that it can handle the load. Those are kind of simple AI tasks that can be done. The integration of the results will have to be managed by and approved by a human being.
Yep.
Right. That's why we're not all going to just become batteries. But I think you'll see that, and we're going to try to do our part to both inform, educate, and potentially even empower the engineering space as it relates to AI.
I love that.
There's a lot that we're kind of thinking about there. But certainly, in the autonomous vehicles space, you will start to see more and more autonomous driving vehicles. Tesla's obviously leading the way, but the roadways are going to have to be designed in such a way. The markings are going to have to be designed in such a way. Even construction, when roads are closed, will have to educate and inform AI agents to route traffic around construction.
Yeah.
So I think in the next 5 to 10 years will be pivotal in making our roadways safer and providing more.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What I love about where we get to show up and partner is, as we notice changes, as we see things, we get to be part of the conversation and adoption of some of these technologies.
Right.
But then as we start to solve and support and expand the capabilities of our clients, we can then share that knowledge with other clients.
Right.
And so hopefully there is this, they say when the tide rises, all the ships in the harbor go up. And so we get to help be part of the tide rising from a technology standpoint, and ensuring that our clients and those that we get to work with, get to be part of that rise altogether. One of the things that we said in our video that I wanted to quote was that when engineers are free to do their work, they're literally building the world around us. Yeah. And so our goal is to make it so they're not thinking about running patches on their laptops and doing software updates.
Is my data safe, or am I at risk of a vulnerability? Or all the things that we would rather them not have to think about.
Yeah.
That's what we are here for.
Yeah. Go shape the world around us. Go continue to do the amazing things that you're doing. And so I usually don't end with like a call to action, but since this is industry specific and there's a chance that someone in the engineering space could watch this that maybe doesn't really know much about our company or our presence online, Jason and I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Yep.
You can find more about us at logicspeak.com. If you're already in an ACEC association and you happen to be in Georgia, let us know. We love meeting other partner firms. And then if there's ever anything we can do to support and help you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to continue to strengthen the engineering community around us.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Jason, this was a lot of fun. I love that we are 4 engineers. I'm excited and optimistic for the future, and also other industries that we are going to announce that we are for. But this was the right one to start with for sure.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hey, tune back in for another episode soon.